Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of a look at some of the things that cause poor posture and can contribute to some chronic aches and pains, lower back, hip flexors, neck and shoulders, those kind of things. Even though it's the number one thing I'm going to talk about, and everybody's probably pretty familiar with it, sitting down, okay, which we're going to go through in a minute, it's not the only reason that we have poor posture. So we're going to go through some of the most common offenders. They're things that we can easily modify and things that we can consciously think about to try to help correct some of our postural issues. So number one, sitting down. If you work in a seated position, if you spend a lot of time driving, or if you spend a lot of time studying or on your computer or watching TV, chances are you spend a lot of time sitting. Now, why is sitting bad for posture? Well, we've got our hips in a flexed position, so we're going to find short, tight hip flexors and one of the quad muscles. We're going to find that our pelvis tilts forward, so we get short and tight through the lower back. We're also going to find there's an imbalance between our glutes and hammies and then our quads on the front, so that pulls us out of alignment, as well as the lower back and the abs. And then we're hunched forward, and that can contribute to tightness in the upper traps, tightness through the pecs, and all of those things can contribute to chronic lower back pain, headaches, neck aches, all those kind of things. So sitting down, not so great for us. The second thing that we need to think about is wearing incorrect footwear. So it's something that you might not associate so much with posture, but depending on what type of footwear you wear, particularly if you're on your feet a lot, if you're wearing high-heeled shoes, that can drastically change the amount of pressure that's placed on different joints and different parts of the body, and it can really affect our posture. So if we're up on our toes, like our body's standing on a hill, it forces us to pull back so we don't tip over forward, and it creates different pressure points, and it stops our body being in perfect alignment. So wearing the wrong type of footwear for long periods of time can absolutely affect posture and lead to tightness and aches and pains. The next one I'm going to talk about is carrying a bag. Now, if you're like me and you carry around a bag that's full of all kinds of things, it can be a little bit heavy, and if it's always slung over one shoulder or even across so that it's resting on one shoulder, that's going to create imbalance between left and right, and that over time can create tension, tightness and shortness on one side, and that's going to lead to tension, headaches, and throw your posture off. Another thing that's quite similar to carrying a heavy bag on one shoulder is if you have a small child and you carry them around on one hip all the time, like I often do, you'll find that you get that same sort of imbalance from left to right by always carrying that extra weight on one side. Now, I'm right-handed, so what I find is that I'm mostly carrying my toddler on my left side so that my right hand is available to write signatures, unlock doors, do all those fine motor skills that I need this hand for, while I'm carrying her on the other hip. So those things again can create imbalances, tension, poor posture. The next thing that a lot of us probably do, and you'll probably have noticed just from watching me on this video that I do as well, is unequally distributing our weight. So we'll find that when we're standing, we often push our hip out and stand with all of our weight on one leg at a time, or we might even lean up against the wall or lean up against a chair. It uses less energy, so that's why we do it, but it also creates imbalances from left to right, and it can pull our body out of alignment if we're doing it repetitively. We're shortening and tightening muscles. Using a smartphone or an iPad or a laptop, we use these little things so much now. We have such terrible posture. When we are sitting down and our phone is here, our necks are constantly in this terrible position, and we're putting all that tension on the back of the neck, okay? So that's something that's very common. You'll see people all the time flicking through their phone, heads down, chins tucked in, creating all these imbalances through the upper body. Our body's designed to be in perfect alignment, and anything that we do that's a regular habit that puts it in a different position is going to create issues. Okay, so there's quite a few issues. What can we do to help fix these issues? The number one thing you can do is be mindful of the fact that these are behavioral things and we can change them. So if we go through our list and we think about, okay, the number one thing on the list was sitting down. What can we do about that? Try to stand up more. Try to stretch muscles that have become shortened and tightened, and try to strengthen muscles that have become lengthened and weakened. Wearing the wrong type of footwear. So if you find yourself wearing high-heeled shoes a lot, if you have to wear high-heeled shoes for work, try to bring a pair of flats that you can change into, or try to have a variety of different footwear that you can wear throughout the week so that you're not wearing the same heels all the time. Or if you do wear heels, maybe choose a lower heel so that you're not putting quite as much pressure on those feet. And also if you are running or doing any kind of high impact activities, make sure you get proper arch support and help support the shape of your foot. And you may need orthotics to help support your particular foot type, so always check on that. Carrying a heavy bag or a baby on one side, what can we do about this? Well, obviously with the toddler, we might think about switching from side to side so that we're not always carrying baby on the same side of the body. Be mindful of the fact that if this is your dominant hand, you're probably going to carry the baby on this side more often. So try to switch them to the other side whenever you can. Same goes for a bag. If you've got a shoulder bag, try to rotate which side you carry it on. Or even better, if you can go with a backpack so that the weight's evenly distributed on both shoulders, and even if you can buckle it up around your middle, that will help distribute it a bit more evenly. And then the final thing, texting, scrolling through our phones, and always with that horrible chin down, forward head posture. If you're going to be using your phone, sit back and hold the phone up slightly higher so that your chin is lifted and that your neck is in a nice neutral position. So if we can make a few of these little conscious changes, that can really help make a big difference to our posture.